Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. session of the 2024 Open Simulator Community Conference. In this session, we are pleased to introduce the presentation, the Sim and Grid Showcase, and we're going to play a game today. Our speaker is me, Lyr Lobo. I'm Cynthia Calongne. I'm a professor emerita at Colorado Technical University, and I conduct research at Virtual Harmony. You know, I'm a gamer. I beta tested 14 massive multiplayer online role-playing games. That means I wrote test reports. I didn't play just for free. And then I play 24 others. I've been in World of Warcraft since day one. I play 4 accounts. I had 1 Euro account so I could play with friends from virtual worlds. Gaming is my life. I teach game design and game simulation design, and I've attended 30 years of game conventions, hosted a few of them. Let's see, two game design research conferences on cruise ships. I love to cruise. And then I'm a grandmaster role player and game master judge with TSR and with Wizards of the Coast. I taught 4 game design and development courses. And here's a fun fact. Will Wright came when we won the $25,000 grand prize for one of our games, and he was the keynote. How many of you know who Will Wright is? Well, he's famous for his design of The Sims, SimCity, and Spore. And he invited me to participate along with several virtual world gamers and to design a TV series that aired in 2011 on current television called Bar Karma. In the credits, I'm known as Mixin. The reason I chose a pseudonym is because the opening scene starts a little racy. In any event, please check out the website found at conference.opensimilar.org for speaker bios, details of the sessions, and the full schedule of events. The session is being live streamed and recorded, so if you have questions or comments during the session, you may send tweets to @OpenSimCC with the hashtag #OSCC24. Welcome, everyone. Let's begin the session. Well, here's how we're going to play. I am going to show you a scene, and I want you to call out in the text chat, what grid am I showcasing? And if you know it, what sim, okay? And then I'm going to tell a little story as we go through this game, and then we're going to think about what we want in the future. I'd like to do something like this each year, and I'd like you to send me content for it so you can be participating in the game design. Ready to play? Let me check in the chat because I know there's a few seconds delay, so I'm looking around. Ready to play? I need to see a yes from someone. If not, then I'll just keep talking and telling stories until I hear that yes. Anyone there? Let's see. Anybody out there? No. Too soon to start singing Pink Floyd, right? Well, I'll play with myself. That's good. All right. And by the way, that was play the game. So I'm going to show this scene, and it's a memorable image. You ready? Okay, Frank, thank you. So here we go. We're going to look at the first image. What grid is this from? And I'll type that too. And if you know it, what sim? We're showcasing a bunch of grids and a bunch of sims, and we're curious. Oh, see, but that's good though, because what I'm trying to do is understand grid loyalty, grid identity, and who's from which grid. I mean, the folks who land there all the time should know what it is. Alternate what there, Eagle? That's a good start. That's like saying virtual. In our world, that means a lot of things, doesn't it? Oh, we hear meta, we hear no idea. See, this is important because this is a community conference and we want you to it is beautiful. I love this image. Well, let me show you another image. Maybe this will help. Well, is that the entire name grid, Eagle? I think there's another word too. I think it's a 3-letter acronym, in fact. I know, I'm mean, aren't I? But see, if we don't know the name of things, we have a hard time finding them. Have you noticed that? When we name things in our inventory, if we're not careful, it's really hard to find. And so what I'm trying to do is increase our sensitivity to heaven. Well, that's a good one. I love that, Eagle. You're so good. And actually, you do get the prize for the first 2 words. So let's see. So I love these textures. I love these colors. And let's face it, I was going around visiting, trying to understand who's from where and how do we share the places we love in the community. So for next year, I'm going to put this teaser out there. If you would send us images of the grids you love and a little clue about them, I will construct a game about it for next year too. Okay, well, I will go ahead and give Eagle the prize. It's Alternate Metaverse Grid, AM AMG. Okay. What is this grid? Here's another one. The Path to Heaven. There we go, Frank. Thank you. And it was a gorgeous image. So what is this? Now, I don't know of it as the Path to Heaven, Frank. So if you're talking about this image, I may need a little more information. I'll give you another clue. Here's another one. They're celebrating the holidays, although how many grids? And by the way, these are landing points, okay? So I will give you that hint. We are doing landing points. So I didn't make it tough. I know we need to get out more. And see, that's the point, is the hypergrids, this amazing technology that allows us to traverse the metaverse. To me, the metaverse is not all the little technologies we associate with it, like non-fungible tokens and crypto and all that. Those are components that are important to aspects of it. But to me, the metaverse is about people and the 3D web. It's this notion that everywhere you go, you're taking pointers to your stuff, and we're aware of you. We have this deep awareness of your body, your presence. Looks like a holiday grid, doesn't it? Let me give you another hint. I'm moving around that same landing area. So the other thing is you'll be able to go shopping there if you want later after the conference, right? Yeah. So we're touring, yes. And let's see, I haven't seen the answer yet, but uh, and of course, if I mixed up one of the images, you can always correct me. That's fine. Let's see, I can give you the answer. I don't want to bore anyone. I do have a bunch of slides to get to. This is one I had never been to before. Let me back up for just a moment. I had never been here before, but I loved the large avatar, and that's a large avatar standing there. That's not a photo of someone, okay? Um, and then I loved all of this detail, this rich detail. And this is when I landed, this was kind of to my, I had to turn around and look over to the corner. There you go. Oh, you sent it? It's Australia. That's right, Eagle. Eagle, you get out. You're really good at this. And here we go. So what I was doing, here's another hint, is I was going through all the grids in our grid list. So if you looked at, and of course, this is going to give you clues, right? I looked through the Firestorm viewer at the grid list, and I said, we might need to update the grid list a little bit. Have you noticed there've been quite a few changes to it? Is it just me? No. And so, yeah. And so I started thinking about that, and I did skip around, so don't panic. But and here she is again, right? But I was thinking about this, going, all this rich content, these beautiful textures, these amazing spaces, these are the places we love. And I wanted to see, since Maria wasn't able to survey the community and then show charts on who's the most popular grid, and of course that popularity is based on your feedback, not the fact that there's more people here or there or anywhere, right? It's the notion that we see the survey and we fill it out. So in this case, we're kind of voting with our presence here. And I know it's Sunday and everyone needs food. They're going, "Bah," or dinner. In Europe, you're all thinking, dinner. um, but For next year, I want you to think about this. Well, let's look at the next image. Now, this one, might be a little tricky for you. We're celebrating the holidays again, and lots of grids have wonderful holiday content. So if you were looking for gifts for friends or something to celebrate in your own space, and many of the items I saw on this grid at this location were take copy, in case you're wondering. Okay. Okay. Oh, you guys, don't tell all the answers, Matt. You're so good. Now everyone's going to get it. But here's the thing. I want you to get out and see the community. Thurza has done an amazing job with the Hypergrid Safari, and Mal and James Out Loud and everyone who gets out there and socializes and stirs up our community, right? Gets us all dancing and talking. Their program on In World Review on Sundays is just amazing. So did anyone call out the name of this grid? Hey, Mal Burns got the Avicon. Avicon. And guess what? This image you see here, a week from Tuesday, every conference, we hold a closing party there. Did you know that? I think it's like 2 to 4 or 3 to 5. I'm in a different time zone than the time is listed. So, of course, the team will tell you what time it is. It's not on the schedule yet, but we do add it as an event. And it'll be probably December 17th. And it usually happens during the Avicon meeting when they hold their staff meeting. But it's a party for you. It's a party for all of the grids to get together. And all of this content you see around me, most of it is take copy. So if you are looking for some fun, wonderful things to share, this is a loving and wonderful group, to come party, dance, and have fun. Yep. Okay, here's a toughie. I'm at the landing zone and I looked over in one direction and I said, "Oh man, I love that house. I love the texturing. Uh, this looks like a place where I would like to stay or visit. I don't mean in their grid at the landing zone, but you know what I'm saying. Where am I? Timing is everything. You bet. And I hypergridded like a mad woman last night. I started setting this up a little after midnight, and I finished about 2 a.m. And I tried to resist shopping because I didn't want to pile too many objects into my inventory, so I'll have to go back later. But I had very smooth transitions, no problems. Everything rendered quickly. And I'm going to show you in a moment which viewer I'm on because I am on a beta. Okay. Um, you think this is OS Grid? Well, I don't think so, but any other guesses? Abbey World. It could, I suppose. Let me take a look. Let's see. Oh, you're so good. You are so good. That's Eagle once again. Eagle gets out. Of all of us, Eagle's our tour director, okay? Yeah. So Thursday, if you're looking for um, uh, a traveling buddy, I think Eagle is the one. But the rest of us need to get out more. And I am sorry that I missed so many hypergrid safari adventures this year. I've been teaching for so many universities, so many classes, that there's only so much. You can only spread yourself so thin, right? Well, here we go. Here's another. Now this is they have a bunch of starter homes and you can get these homes for free. So I just thought I love the textures, I love the clean lines, the lighting, and I was wondering where am I? It does look a little like Wright Plaza, but this is not Wright Plaza. It's possible it's on there too, but this happens to be on a different grid. Which, oh, is it? Is this your backyard? The metaverse is my backyard, Eagle says. So, what else? Ian thinks it's right, but I don't think so. Um, do I have the answer in the image? That's possible. I tried not to, but you know how it is. We love our grids and we tend to have names around them, right? You don't know it? No, no. Well, take some guesses. How many grids are there? Now, there's hundreds of grids, aren't there? In fact, there may be more than you think because there's a lot of them that are not reporting. If you looked at the CVL Community Virtual Libraries database for virtual worlds, that are reporting, whether it's the one that was Hyperica, the one through Outworlds, the list, or the one at the librarian site where people will self-select to contribute and add to that virtual world database their grid, and then who's the point of contact and a little information that really helps for places that are trying to set up directories, start thinking about extending the community. What about businesses? And I don't mean commerce. What I really mean is professional traffic and jobs and things like that. I know that sounds weird, but I don't think it's a bad future. Okay, I haven't been to Neverworld, Eagle. I need to. In fact, we were hoping to have to look at some content from them. And I know that there was a hypergrid safari to Neverworld. What a great opportunity. Well, let me show you. Here's another hint. Same grid, okay? Same grid. I hope you're not bored with this game, but please, this is why we're here. We're not just here to visit our own world and just talk about it. We're really here to get exposed to new ideas, new places, new clothes, new ways of being, and of course, to strengthen our world. You don't know where this is? Mal, you took me here once. Thursday, you took me here once. Let's see, who else took me here? Um, See, the house is in the backdrop there. So I am playing fair, and these are all guy looks, complete avatars, etc. Oh, James, you got it. It's craft. Yeah, it's the craft grid. You bet. Here's an aerial looking down. Oh, this is another one. That was craft grid. Now we're on a different one. Where are we now? Some of you are from here. Yeah, that was Craft World, the last one. That's correct. Well, let's look at it by night. Maybe you're only here at night, Eagle. I have to admit, I kept changing the lighting and I kept thinking, let's do shared lighting. Let's see what's natural to that grid at this time of night or day. And of course, the name is kind of shining a little bit there. No takers on this one? It is. It's beautiful. This is an aerial of their starting area. And see, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? Anyone? Or any D20 kind of game? That's where you roll a 20-sided dice. No yeses, no nos, and everyone's gone to lunch. No. DigiWorlds, that's it, Mal. You're so good. There it is, DigiWorlds. I'm right at the heart of it. So the reason I ask about Dungeons and Dragons is whenever I'm watching a science fiction movie or any kind of movie, and there's something lurking above the doorway, waiting for you to go through. The music is tense. You start to step through, and all of a sudden, something drops on you. Could be from Aliens or, from one of those kinds of movies. And one of the things we always say in Dungeons and Dragons, the role playing game, is humans never look up. They never do that aerial, first looking up and then secondly looking down, all these different perspectives. But the good news is we can, right? Well, let's take our next tour. Here we are. Where am I? That's right, Thurza. Now, if you want to listen to YouTube, if you can't hear my questions, and I'll type that too. Where am I? Oh, you guys are so good. You're like, I know that mosaic tile. Yes, we recognize our world by textures, by pathways, the places we frequent. And yes, this is Kitely, or as our European friends say, Keatley, right? And yep, I took a step back to look at the other, because I was like, wow, I've been here for meetings quite a few times. I have Lyr Lobos in like 8 different grids. Obviously, I need to make more of them, right? And I like being me everywhere I go, just in case, right? And so I've been to quite a few meetings here, but I'd never really looked around at all the beauty of this. But yes, it is Kitely, and they're having their community meeting. Where am I now? All of a sudden, everything got dark and mysterious. I love these textures, by the way. And this Christmas tree looks just fantastic. They did a great job. Where am I? A big place in Europe. That's it, Graham. And Graham, I had such fun with your session yesterday. Please realize this is not a formal presentation. This is a celebration. My session right now is a celebration of our community, all the things we love and the things that matter to us, right? Absolutely. Oh, and spell it out there, Thurza, because a lot of people don't know what LF grid means. What is that? See, Thurza's so good. She's been everywhere. Little. Yep. That's it, Littlefield Grid. Thank you, Mal, and thank you, Thurza. Yes, this is Littlefield. And yes, some of these are adult. And here's a tribute to Thurza. I was finding her signs everywhere. And I said, if anything happened to us, there are pieces of us all over the grids. We are part of this community. We're like the ghost in the shell, as I tease Mutaku over in DigiWorlds, who she attends the core developers meetings with me. I love the fact that we're all connected and everywhere we love, is a place of adventure for us. Well, let's take a look. And I did pull the camera back so you could see Littlefield on the name right next to her sign. Thank you, Thurza, for leaving these wonderful breadcrumbs for us. Yes, they are. I spend a lot of time going in and looking at the really creative content. Now, some of you may be asking the question, do I take my students there? I tend not to take them to adult grids, I will tell you that, even though there may be historical significance. One reason is we have 19 grids with we have Athens and Pompeii and a lot of historical content, right? And then we also, I do take them to Lanny Mall, thanks to Thurza and Mal. First off, that was one of the first places I ever went when I created my first Lyr Lobo on OS Grid back in the early days. By the way, today is my res day. In any virtual world, I started December 8th, 2005, and I've never celebrated it. It's kind of weird. It's because I'm almost always busy at a conference on this day. So I just thought I'd put a little shout out there. December 8th, 2005. Now, this is not the first day I ever went in a virtual world. My doctoral research was in VR, and I designed an early VR simulation to test new kinds of interfaces and think about how can users with no training, no help facility, and no manual learn how to use our world. Now, I have to apologize to Lisa because I don't have a speakeasy for this. I wrote this at 2 in the morning and then crawled into bed real quick. So this is what we call hot and fresh off the press, right? But later today, we're going to have a little talk, our AI MIT Permeate, where we're going to talk about issues like that and connect to Frank and Lisa's talk and to Lone Wolf's talk. We're going to show how all of you have inspired us to take some action, and we'll be sharing that later this afternoon. So, wow, where am I now? Now, this is a little tricky. Okay, I did not get this from the grid list. All right. And no, the people who know where I am, who gave me the image, you can't play. But what is this? Hey, thank you. Thank you, Eagle. And thank you, Star. You know, our celebrations are important to us. They remind us that everyone matters and that being here, being present and active and loving this community is really the joy of it. It's not just a place, it's not just technology, it's not just education, it's everything. This amazing how it feeds our spirit, energizes us, and gives us a place. It's like Cheers. Remember the old situation comedy Cheers, where everybody knows your name, where your buds are, where you dance, where you're the hero, of your story. Okay, where am I here? Let me show you another image. Maybe that's not enough. Oh, this one's going to be telling, or maybe the next one will. The next one will be telling. Now, these are images from a collection of grids related to this event. There's your hint. Yep, it's about people and friends. That's right, Star. For some people, it's also about writing and creativity, as we're going to notice at 12:30 in our panel. This is all from the same set of grids that was part of an event. Is it your summer residence? I love it. Uh, I would be living in the tree, okay? Yeah. So where are we? I think it's a tree. It may just be a cave, but it reminds me of the base of a tree, and I often am an elf or a half elf, okay? All right. Well, we'll give you one more hint. This one has a name of something, but I'm not at Avatar Life. That's not the name of the grid I'm on. So now the question is where is this? The grid is not Avatar Life, but they were there. Where am I? This is a little different. Remember, it's a little different. This is not from your grid list. Yes. Malburn's got it. Yep, it's OS Fest, and I am so sorry I missed it this year. You know, I've given 371 conference presentations and keynote addresses, and I am painfully shy. Okay, that's the fun part of the story. And unfortunately, I gave way too many the last few months. So I missed OS Fest, and I'm so sorry. I didn't miss it last year. I have all kinds of images I took. And then I went shopping at all the places that were featured. Because I love the ground cover. I love the textures. All of them moved me. Okay, next one. This is a tricky one. Where am I? Grid and sim name. Okay. I know it says Avacon at the bottom, but that's the name of the viewer, not the name of the grid. Oh, what? Oh, you better spell that out, Eagle. As a lot of people don't know the acronym, see? And we're helping everyone in the community, including the people who watch the videos later, our legacy, right? There we go. And then what sim? The sim is the tricky part, right? It's one of the main ones. It's one that has lots of traffic, a high rating on Open Sim World. Okay. You don't know the region. I'll bet you've been there. Oh, Thurza is rocking. Yes, you got it. That's Event Plaza. And I wanted to bring pictures of OS Grid because right now they are going through data conversion and getting back, all their stuff, optimizing and scrubbing and really caring for their people. They bring the server back up when they can. They take it back down to continue the work, and we are so thankful for them. I have property on OS Grid, and there's a couple of universities that are teaching on my region. Fortunately, it's near the holidays, and I'm sure they have a backup plan as well. That's why I have so many layers. Is if anything ever goes down, I'm somewhere else and working just fine, right? So the education continues, the show goes on. Here's another image. Which sim am I on now? Now this one involves not just the grid, but also our core development team. And I do have a couple slides about them. Oh, I have a lot of layers. James, I probably have 8. I have like 6 in virtual worlds that are easy to identify. Lyr Lobos. Yep. Yep. So what region am I on? Let's see. Most of you have been here, and this is PBR, by the way. No, close, close, Eagle. But I didn't know that PBR was on Wright Plaza. PBR is the metallic, shiny, and let me see what James said. Oh, there are 5. That's good. That's good. Well, I'm older, James. I, I will in 2025, I will be computing for 50 years, 50. I started on punch cards and Fortran, okay? Yep. Yep. And yes. So yeah, LBSA. That's right, Eagle, you're so good. And PBR is on display. See that floor? See the metallic shine, you know, the texturing? That's PBR. And you have to be using a later viewer to see it. I'm not saying you all should go out and get a PBR viewer, but I am saying that this is what we're talking about, all the different improvements and things that are going on and what's available in OpenSim. And this is part of the hard work of our core development team led by Yubit Umarov. He in particular has painstakingly gone through and tested to give us some compatibility. But please realize we are dependent on viewers, and we're so thankful for Beck Janice and the Firestorm team for also keeping not just up to date on the Second Life content, but on the open simulator needs, right? Because our community does not always need metallic and shiny, especially for terrain textures. So so please, we want to do a shout out to them. Okay, I better move along. And of course, this is me. I love Spock, and I am a Trekkie, and so I had to take a photo. I know it's cheesy, but there we are. That is on LBSA, right? Yes. Yes, I had the model. Yes, Lisa, I had that. It was the TRS Model 1 with a cassette drive as a storage device. But that was in 1981. In 1975, I was on a mainframe doing Fortran. Yep. And on punch cards, I didn't like it. I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, where do we find Dare to Dream? Where am I? Now, I had not been here before. I am somewhere I've never been to before. Okay, I'm going to give you another hint. Of course, we're still talking geek. Once we start talking about systems and geek and, early computers and stuff and VisiCalc and, I inherited that Model 1 TRS, with a cassette drive as a storage device from a bookie who died and left it to my father. And it had 3 racetracks of content, statistics from racetracks for the Triple Crown, right? Yeah. So of course I had VisiCalc, and that was my first spreadsheet too in 1981. But here we are, we're Dare to Dream. I love the textures from the shops in there. You have to realize that warm wood color really drew me in. This grid at the starting point publishes their statistics. And I thought I'd show you this. I have no idea if they're able to dynamically add it. They probably put the texture on there every day. But I was fascinated by it because at Virtual Harmony, we learn from our users. So when users go around the sim, touching things, flying, how they move, what they touch, what they do, is all contributing to a data dashboard so we can learn from people and solve problems better because of that learning experience. So here, you may have trouble reading it, but it says that the red relates to, how many minutes people spend a day, and the avatar count is the green, and the blue, there's the average time they spend. And you can certainly go to this grid and sim and look at it. So let me see what the guesses are. Yep. I remember SuperCalc, also stranger. Yep. You have the script. Oh, Lisa, you're so good. This is Gamisa's, and Gamisa's a buddy. We still keep in contact. I don't know if you know, but his grid went down when his system crashed, and he lost all his resources. And of course, he was very sad over that. So we keep in contact. I send cards. If you ever want on my greeting card list, because I send them out a few times a year, um, send me a message. This is a bold thing to do, right? We will say OSCC organizers at avicon.org. I am a research scientist volunteer with avicon.org, and you can send me a message there and say, I want on Lyr's greeting card list, and I will include you in our community, and I sometimes send out cheesy little games, to play on a greeting card, and then of course sentimental ones. So Fredericks and I really love those cards. So I will move along. So where am I? Well, I'm not on the CAS grid. No. So did you guess where I was? Let me pause here. Did you guess where I was? I don't see the answer in the chat, but I see a lot of great chat. So that's really the goal here, right? I was at somewhere I'd never been to before, and I'm going to pick behind the scenes so I don't butcher the name. It begins with party. It begins with party. Yes, it was the party destination grid. That is where I was. Now I am moving down and noticing that grids are missing, right? I'm typing it because I know there's a little delay, but we don't care. We are timeless here in the virtual world. So there is a little delay, and I noticed that I couldn't get to a couple places. I'll show you the next one too, okay? A teleport failed, no foreign users allowed. And I saw Thurs's note about Discovery Grid, right? I was on Hypergrid Safari, and I was going to grab a bunch of images from there and try to construct something from there. And I decided I had to experience it. I can't just talk about it. I have to go get messy, right? And I smoothly hypergridded to all these locations, instantly rezzed, and felt very comfortable moving. But of course, this is true for many of us, and you have to have some restrictions if you're going to have education or certain kinds of businesses uh, or certain kinds of commerce, right? So that's going to happen. But I thought it was interesting that it was in the grid list and yet restricted, okay? Um, so what I'm thinking about is what should go in the grid list? Should we have more of these private grids as well as the public ones so that people can easily access their home grid, right? Well, where am I now? Let me type that out. Where am I? Yep, I know it. I loved how you spelled it. You said Ferner uh, on Discovery Grid on your blog there, and I had such fun with that. There's a yep. There we go. Anyway, where am I now? There's a McDonald's. Yeah. And let's look at another image. I was walking around. I'm right at the starting point. And of course, they have all these Animesh pets. So if you were looking for Animesh pets, smooth moving, and of course, a shop full of them for free, you should come here, right? And many of us like all these. They have a variety of animations. And of course, they circle and roll over, etc. Right? Well, we're almost at the end of our game. I'm not looking at the call, but we are good on time. So let's see. No guesses? No, it's not Outworlds. Although it's possible this is there too, right? That is the thing with virtual world content is it tends to get around, right? Not there. Dog World. Well, I'm going to get you the name. It is virtual life. Will not know. Let me look at see what Eagle's guess was before I get carried away. Dog World. I love that. Ah, I had never been there. Never, never. Okay. Well, as we get ready to wrap, we still have one more destination. Actually, two. I guess we have two or three as a commentary. So let's take a look at our next one. Where am I? The last one was virtual life. You should go. They have a ton of stuff. It's really a lot of fun, and they have a lot of not just shopping, but also experience. I love the experiential. Zeta Worlds. Oh, Mal, you're so good. Yes, we're at Zeta Worlds. And let's take a look. I'm on the stage playing with the piano. I've been there for a social event. Vincent brought me out, and then also for where am I now? What meets here that you this is a trivia question that you heard about on Saturday? Here's a hint. Everyone is welcome. That's a hint. They publish their logs, the meetings. Yes, this is Zeta still. Zeta Worlds, you're right, Eagle. But now the question is, yes, but what meets here? What group meets here? Now we're thinking about community and our software and everything coming together. The Safari grid, I'm sure they have, Lisa. I'm sure Safari's been there. There is an important meeting that occurs here. I'll give you a hint. When OS grid is in maintenance, okay, something meets here. What is it? There we go. And yes, I type and talk and oh, the core dev meeting. Marcus is so good. Ha ha ha. Yes, the core dev meeting. This is our alternate location. So if you went to the landing grid for Zeta Worlds and you walked over to one side and you saw these beanbag chairs, we sit there and we hold the meeting. Yeah. And Vincent manages the recordings, Ubit runs the meetings, and Andrew manages the agenda for extra topics when guests show up. And let's say you're having tech difficulties and you need an answer. It doesn't mean we all have the answer, but we'll certainly reflect on it. And we might advise you to add it to the Mantis, right? Remember the Mantis? Mantis is where you report features or bugs, things that you've noticed missing or things that you need added. Now, this doesn't mean that it should be part of the core software. Some often users think of features that really should be on the viewer, right? And that's because it's part of the user experience. Well, let me wrap on our little game session, and I hope you've enjoyed this. Look at this. Do you see the version number? What version of Firestorm am I using? Now, every so often you will visit a site and they might restrict your version, right? For one reason or another. There's always good reasons why they do that. OS Grid has a list of versions they accept and don't. You know, you notice I had no problems visiting most of the sites. I am on 711, but I'm on a special, that last 5 digits is important because 711 is under a release right now for OS, although many of you are using 6617 because it's a very stable version for non-PBR. So if we were on Firestorm 6617, it is stable, but no PBR, right? And most people are not using PBR yet. That'll be a culture shift as well as a content shift, as well as our systems might not be ready for it, right? We might not have the graphics cards, the amount of GPU or other resources. Well, I'm just about to wrap. I see the time. But anyway, I am on a special version. And if you wanted to test this version, there are a couple things to remember. It's experimental, right? Secondly, you need to join a group in Second Life. The Firestorm, it's a support group that reports bugs. Now, why is this important? We need support for OpenSim tools, and we are thankful for their support. They work hard. Everyone's a volunteer on the core dev team. Ubit devotes all of his time to it. Um, and of course, Beck Janice and the group, she has been responsible for most of our upgrades recently, as well as a couple of other people. Humble Tim has been doing a lot. He came to the core dev meetings, and of course we want to do a shout out to Gavin for the day-turn Mac viewer, and then also to Joe Magarak. He is doing some amazing things with his viewer. So he's some revolutionary stuff is coming. So you should check the core dev logs if you don't come to meetings and see some of the highlights of what's happening behind the scenes. Send some love to all these people. And if you have a few cents, buy them a coffee, help out, because it's really deeply appreciated. Well, come to the holiday party a week from Tuesday. Now, if they change the date, look at the schedule, okay? But for like 11 years, we've held the party a week from Tuesday. And come celebrate with us. Let us know, talk, mingle, pick up some wonderful freebies, and enjoy, our virtual world. Well, I'm Lyr Lobo, aka Dr. Cynthia Calongne. I don't use my title, and I don't even use my last name. I go by Dr. C with my students, or Lyr. Take care, have a great conference, and I will turn the floor back over to myself to close the video. Well, thank you, Lyr, for an informative and interesting presentation. As a reminder to our audience, you will want to check out the conference.opensimulator.org to see what is coming up on the conference schedule. You won't want to miss our next session, which will begin at 12:30 p.m. in this keynote region, and it is entitled The Writers Panel. And don't miss the special fireside chat with Philip Rosedale and the Q&A moderated by Mal Burns. It's happening at 4 p.m., taking place here in the OSCC keynote regions. Also, we encourage you to visit the OSCC24 Poster Expo in the OSCC Expo 3 region to find accompanying information on presentations and explore the hypergrid tour resources in OSCC Expo 2 region, along with the sponsor and crowdfunder booths located throughout all of the OSCC Expo regions. Thank you again to myself and to you, the audience. Bye.